President-elect Trump making historic gains among Hispanic voters as he secures his second term.
This surpasses George W. Bush's previous record, and the surge in support mainly boiled down to one issue, the economy.
Joining us now with more, Trump 2024 senior advisor Danielle Alvarez. Danielle, great to have you on the program this morning. If you could, please talk to us about what you're seeing here with these numbers and these gains among Latino voters.
Well, President Trump obviously had a historic win across the country, not only winning the popular vote in every single battleground state, as it was called today, but he also performed incredibly well with Hispanic voters, having huge swings. He had a 19-point swing nationally among Hispanic voters, and of course having massive swings in every battleground state, double digits in every battleground state from 10 to 20 points, whether it was Florida, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, even Texas. And I think it came down to treating our community as whole voters, not just talking to us about immigration, not just talking to us about the economy, but talking to us about every single issue that matters holistically. And of course, it absolutely paid off.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think this was the first time we've ever seen any candidate speak to Hispanics as if they're just Americans. So the message he gave in Wausau, Wisconsin was the same message he gave in the Bronx, was the same message he gave in Phoenix, was the same message he gave in Coachella. We saw so many differences that the other side was doing, where they'd have an ad that was pro-Israel in one state and one that was, geared at Arab Americans in a different state. Is this going to be the new template for every other campaign, at least on the Republican side?
Well, I think it absolutely has to be. It seemed to be very confusing for Democrats when they would talk about, opening certain minority offices and things that were really geared towards Hispanic voters, but they missed, again, that big picture, that holistic picture. I am a whole voter. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm an incredibly hard worker. And so when it came down to, again, those economic issues, President Trump was speaking to me and speaking to my community. When it came down to bringing down costs, whether it came down to cutting regulations, as a mom, I really cared about the issues that he talked about, because I have two young daughters. One's 4, the other one just turned 1 last week. And I wanted to hear about changes that would be made. Again, a family-oriented community, what my kids are learning in school. And I think Democrats absolutely miss that. One of the things that I noticed during this campaign trail is I'd get asked by the media all the time, well, how many minority community centers do you have? And again, President Trump was treating Hispanic voters like whole voters, like American voters, really taking care of those issues that mattered most, not necessarily pandering. And so what I say to those reporters and those Democrats who said, we have 300 minority offices, well, we have 300 electoral votes.
That's right. That's good.
Treating people as individuals, as God intended. Danielle Alvarez, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.